I recently had a request to do a video about how to use protection magic. So this is a little different to specific types of protection magic and how to actually do a protection spell or some form of protection magic. This is more to do with how you use and how you choose what sort of protection magic to do given whatever the circumstances are. But before I dive into that, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn Wicca or witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. Protection magic is one of the first types of magic you really need to be learning because it's just handy. It's like learning self-defense. It's just, unfortunately, a part of life. There are dangers out there, there are unsavory people out there, and there are unsavory energetic forces and spirits out there as well that you're going to want to protect yourself from. Now, I know for people who are more law of attraction focused, they're going to go, oh, well, you don't want to be focusing on protection because that's going to draw more nasty things to you because you're focused on that, but you're not. When you're focused on protection magic, you're focused on being protected. So you're focusing on being safe. So it's not something that goes against the whole law of attraction philosophy of only thinking of the positive. It is about thinking about the positive while you're doing it, but you're being realistic and you're being strategic when it comes to your need for protection. It's such an important form of magic that it's the first major type of magic that I teach in the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy because it's just something you need to know. So there's different types of protection spells or magic workings that you can do. There are binding spells that you can do. Now they're protective in the sense that you could bind yourself to something or bind something together so that it protects it from being torn apart from something. So if you're wanting to protect your job, for example, you could bind yourself to your job. I would suggest you only do that temporarily because you may find that there could be other work out there that you may prefer to do at some point. But you can do a temporary binding to bind yourself to that job. If there's layoffs or something like that going on around you, you're not ready to go yet and you just want to stay there, then you can do a binding as a form of protection magic. So that would be a case of choosing what the situation is and going, what's the outcome that I'm wanting? What result do I want from this type of protection magic? So that's the first thing that you would look at when you're thinking protection is what's the circumstances and what's the best way that what is it I want? You know, what do I want to keep safe? In this case, you're wanting your job. So that means binding could be something that you do. Even a relationship that could be under threat by a third party could be something you may want to protect temporarily as well. When it comes to bindings, I really do emphasize temporarily because you don't necessarily want to be binding yourself together to anything, even a great job, because sometimes just going with the flow of change is actually the best outcome. So if you really feel that, you know, you're really in that sort of a situation where something is under threat and binding is the best way to protect it, then do a binding. Another way that you can use or do protection is through shielding yourself. So shielding is like you've got a shield of some sort around you or whatever it is that you're protecting. And there's so many different ways that you can do this. You can do this with energy. Now, if you're using energy, it's something you're going to have to do every day. So it's going to be a daily practice because you've got to keep putting that energy out there. You can do shielding through spell work. You can use different types of spells. You can use sigils. You can use all different types of spell work basically for shielding because it's really just, it's as limited as your imagination is when it comes to the different things that you can do. I find sigil magic is really good for shielding, where you are putting symbols perhaps in a circle or in a pentagram where you've got whatever it is that you're wanting to protect, which may be you or someone else or something else. You put whatever it is that you're wanting to protect in the center of the pentagram or the center of the circle, and then lots of protective sigils and signs around that. Put it on parchment. You could carve it in wood, depending on how creative you want to get, and then charge it up, use it like a ward, and put it somewhere where it's going to be able to ward off whatever it is that you want. So that's why you're doing shielding and warding at the same time. So that brings me to warding. Warding is warding off something. So it's where you're wanting to keep something out. Now, wards are very common on houses. I have one on the front of my house. I think most witches have wards around their premises. So they're most common with housing and where you're living. And what they're doing is warding off negative energy from being able to affect whoever is inside the house or inside the parameter. And again, you can use sigil magic to do that. You can use witches' bottles. Witches' bottles are a bit like wards as well. They ward off the curses and negative energy of other people. Wards are used for basically just saying, no, I'm not interested. It's a bit like putting a sign on your door, do not disturb, or, putting a sign on your door that says, if you're a salesperson, don't bother knocking, that kind of thing. That's kind of what a ward does. And it's generally in some sort of a symbolic form. Some people will use gemstones as wards. You can use anything that is something that's going to stay there and be there and do its job in warding something away. I do find that using sigils, as well as you can also use other energetic objects as well, like dried herbs somehow attached to your ward. You can use bags with herbs and various different things and hang them around your home. You'll find bottles, spell bottles are really good to have around your home. They can be used as wards. All sorts of things. Again, it depends how limited your imagination is as to how or what you can use. But the point is, if you're wanting to keep negative energy or people or spirits out of your home, then a ward is a really good way of doing that. Another type of protection magic is reversals. Now, reversals aren't really protection. They're kind of attack back. So they're kind of a pushback, where you feel that somebody has sent you negative energy, whether they've consciously sent it to you or not, and you just push it back at them. So it's like they give you a punch, you punch them back. Or if you're using kind of more of a sense of energy, they actually end up being pushed back by their own force. So you're repelling the energy so that it actually ricochets off back onto them. So in the martial arts, if you've worked with Qi, often you'll work with Qi in that way, so that you're actually using their force against them as your way of protecting yourself, right? So reversal magic's the same. You're using their energy to push back on them, so they actually end up hurting themselves by sending that energy out to you. And there's various different ways that you can do that, and you can decide whether that's something you want to do. Sometimes it is appropriate to do that because it kind of teaches them a lesson for a start, and it also may let them know that maybe you're a person that isn't suitable to be messing around with. It really just depends on you and how you feel about doing those things, but it is a form of protection magic where you're using their own stuff against them. Another way that you can work with that, if you feel that somebody's sending you something either deliberately or unconsciously, or you're just feeling negative energy from people who may be angry with you or upset with you, then you can do what's more of an alchemical type of operation. So instead of sending their energy back at them, when the energy comes to you, it gets transformed by like a shield of some sort, or by a charm of some sort, or a ward of some sort. And actually what's reflected back then at them is actually whatever it is that you're transforming it to. So in some cases, the best weapon is to actually send something really positive back to people. So you can imagine that they're sending something, you can alchemically change that energy because it's just energy. All you're doing is changing that energy and putting it back as something completely opposite. So if you're more of a person who prefers to do magic that doesn't ever harm anybody in any way, shape or form, and you're really wanting to put yourself out there more in that sort of sense of love and light type of thing, then you can actually you can transform that energy from whatever it is and turn it back into love and light. Now that's not the easiest thing to do, so it's a bit more advanced, but it is a way that you can work with that energy so that you're transforming the energy and sending it back as something else. You can have a shield or some sort of, again, or a charm where the negative energy is coming at you, but what happens is it dissolves before it hits you. So it's like it hits your shield and it dissolves. Imagine the energy like arrows, and as soon as they hit the shield, they dissolve. So that way then you're basically sending that energy back down into the ground, back into the earth, and neutralizing it. So that's more of a neutralizing type of way of using protective magic, and that's again kind of a shielding way of using magic and using alchemy to change and transform the energy that may be being sent to you or is being sent to you. Another way that you can use protection magic is by using floor washers, which is kind of a cleansing type of protection magic. So the energy may already be there and you're wanting to remove it. What a floor wash does, or a spray, or any type of energetic cleansing that you may do through drumming, or you may do through sensing, or however you're clearing your space, then what that does is, again, it's a transformation of energy. It's an alchemical thing, because energy is neutral in and of itself, and it depends on the intent behind it as to what that energy is or isn't. So cleansing magic works very well because it actually, again, transforms that energy from being a particular thing on the polarity to the opposite thing on the polarity. So if you think of the principle of polarity, where things are similar in essence but different by degree, when you're dealing with positive and negative energy, whatever you want to call it, you can transform those energies into each other simply by directing your intention in a magical way to transform that energy. So it's all energy work at the end of the day. Another way that you can use protection magic is if you are wanting to break a curse. So if you feel like you've been cursed either deliberately or unconsciously, then you can just break the curse. So that just, again, dispels the energy and neutralizes the energy from whatever the intention was. The energy still exists. Energy doesn't go anywhere, but you can change the type of energy or whatever the intention is behind that energy, or the substance of that. I'm talking more about the intention substance of the energy, and that's what you're doing when you're breaking a curse. And there's many different ways that you can do that. Candle magic is a really simple way of breaking a curse. You can use sigil magic. There's all different ways that you can use magic to break a curse. So there's many different ways that you can use protection magic. It depends what you're wanting. If you're wanting to cleanse the space because there's already some negative energy there, you don't feel it's actually like a curse or anything, you just want to get rid of the negative energy, then do some kind of a wash. Even if that's washing yourself, like a particular bath or something that you want to do to cleanse that energy that is already there and to transform it or neutralize it. So that's one of the better things to do, especially if it's to do with the space. You want to cleanse it. After you've cleansed it, then you may want to do a ward or a charm. And a charm is pretty much the same thing as a ward. It wards something away from you. It says, no, I'm not opening the door to salespeople, that kind of thing. It just basically puts a door between you and whatever it is. So use a charm or use a ward then after you've done a cleansing. If you feel like you have been deliberately cursed by somebody, or even not consciously cursed by someone, because people curse you and be really, really angry with you and not necessarily even believe in magic or practice magic. It's just that they're so focused on how much they resent you for whatever reason it is, and they feel so justified in it for their own reasons that they're kind of doing it inadvertently anyway. So you can still break that using magic, and then set up a shield around yourself to stop that from coming again. And again, a ward or a charm to help you with that. Having a daily practice really helps you with your protection magic, because you're putting positive energy around yourself anyway. You're kind of shielding yourself anyway in a daily practice. You're also grounding yourself and connecting to the earth. Your intuition is going to become so much better. So you're going to be able to detect what's going on around you. And you're going to also raise your personal vibration so that you're not such a target for negative energy. Energy is something that tends to resonate. If something's resonating on the same level, then you're more likely to be affected by it. So if you're having a time where you're really down and stuff isn't going right, you'll often find that it's kind of like gains momentum, and you end up in this really dark patch where you really feel like you've hit a low, and what's the next bad thing that's going to happen? And some people live their lives completely like that. Raising your vibration, which again is a law of attraction thing, but this is something that I think in magic we haven't really thought too much about. We tend to think so much about protecting ourselves that we don't realize that when we do our shadow work and when we do the work on ourselves and practice every day, we're raising our vibration. So we're not as necessarily as affected by the negative energy of other people as we would be if we weren't doing a regular practice and we weren't working with upping our vibration and our energy every day. So just a daily practice where you're working on your energy every day, working on focusing and connecting to deities. It can be specific deities, or you may change deities. When you're feeling connected, you are less of a target. So if somebody is throwing something at you, you may not be as affected by it, or you may not be affected by it at all. It really just depends on the practitioner and the person and where you're at. And it'll be much easier for you too to be able to pick yourself up again when you are having negative experiences that life may just throw at you, when you've got that daily practice. So really think about your practice. Don't just think of witchcraft as being something you have to do when you need it. Like, you think that you may be cursed, and that's the only time you think of witchcraft. Because if you've been cursed once, or if you're feeling the negative energy of other people around you once, then you're going to probably feel that energy again, because you're never going to keep everybody happy. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you, or somebody who's upset with you, somebody who's resentful or jealous, or you're not doing what they want you to do and they think you should. And there's always going to be that negative energy somewhere in your life from people, unless you don't have anything to do with people. Because unfortunately, people can be really horrible. So a daily practice will help keep you centered, it will help keep you safe, it'll raise your vibration, and you're less likely to be caught up in all of this other negativity at the same time. So if you want to learn a daily practice, I do have the ultimate guide to starting a Wiccan practice that works. It is a 5-day online course that just sets you up with a really simple daily practice that you can add to as you progress, and it just gives you the foundations and the basics of what you need to do in a daily practice. So the link to that is in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.